Thinking about the misfortunes your small business could suffer doesn't seem very zen. But meditate on this for a moment. Thinking leads to preparation. Preparation leads to peace of mind. You could call it Zensurance. Get affordable insurance for as little as $19 per month. Quick and easy, whether you're self-employed, an entrepreneur, a contractor, or small business owner. Zensurance offers the unique coverage you need in a snap. Get an instant price today at Zensurance.com.
Frequency Podcast Network. Stories that matter, podcasts that resonate.
Navigating this economy has never been more confusing or frustrating, and we are here to help with this. I'm Kris McCusker, and this is In This Economy, where we keep you informed on what the latest economic news means for you. Things sure have been different since the pandemic in a number of ways. And when it comes to finances, it might have you rethinking how you mark the holidays. Maybe overspending or building up debt are not things you want to do anymore. Guess what? You don't have to. Lisa Hannam is the editor-in-chief at MoneySense.ca. Thanks for doing this today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And it's awkward, but you say there is a way to tell family and friends that you're skipping the wrapped gifts this holiday season. How do you do it?
We are all facing interest rates. We are all facing inflation. We're all in the same economy, so to speak. So it definitely is something that I feel like people will relate to. It can be difficult only because of what the past expectations have been, right? What you've done, like Christmas traditions or holiday traditions. People don't like breaking holiday traditions because they're very sentimental. But when it comes to money, that's a different thing because you can always create new traditions, like of how you celebrate, whether you go out to have a meal together or if you are maybe doing like volunteering together or something like that. Like there are other options. It doesn't always have to be bigger and better than last year.
Well, and it also doesn't have to mean that you spend money that you might not have. And that goes both ways. Like for both the recipient and the giver.
No, for sure. I know Canadians are expecting to spend 10% more than they did last year. Like the average Canadian spend for the holidays is over $1,000, almost $1,500. So it's quite a bit. So if you want to be able to cut money from somewhere, it's always a good choice. Like the people that are on the peripheral, like if you're going to go to someone's house and you expect them to give you something, that's where it kind of can get tricky. But really, as long as you're clear with each other about it, then like no one's disappointed by something that they know ahead of time. You know what I mean?
Kids are not a part of this because kids maybe wouldn't understand a conversation like this.
No, but I have talked to some parents who are doing experiences instead. So they're doing like a movie day or they're planning for a big family trip. You do want them to be able to have something to open though, but maybe the cost of that isn't super important to a young child. They just want to be a part of the excitement and like have like everyone around them. You know what I mean? Like it's really about family when it comes down to it.
I can remember Christmases with my cousins around and one of the young cousins opened a present and, you know, sort of the toy was put aside and they had a really good time with the box. So maybe you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money to make a kid happy over the holidays.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe not buy them a box, but definitely kids are attracted to things that they can play with, that are interactive and that they can pull apart and put back together. So I think that it's more about the action of what they do with the gift than it is what you spend on the gift, because nobody even sees the price tag anyway. But don't they remove that all at stores?
Fair enough. You also have on the Money Sense blog some ideas around all of this. Talk to me about what giftflation is all about.
Yeah, so giftflation is what we talked a little bit about this already, but like it's the whole idea that every year you have to improve upon last year. And then adding into that inflation. So even if you were to buy like something similar to last year, chances are it's going to cost you like 2 to 3% more anyway. But the whole idea that like our relationships are emblematic within the gift is something that it's not really good for relationships. You know what I mean? Like you really want to be giving gifts with thought, not necessarily that has a bigger impact or that costs more.
There's also described on the blog a right way to regift, which to me makes a lot of sense, because if somebody gives you something and it's not something you're going to use, why not give it to someone who will put it to use? So how do you go about this without doing it incorrectly?
Yeah, so I think the tool to this is not making it look like a regift. Not that I'm saying to be dishonest or in any way, but not make it look like you just pulled something out of the closet and threw it in a bag and then gave it to them. You want it to look like there was some thought behind it. So pretty much anything that goes on the body or that you eat will have an expiry date. So even if you think it might not have an expiry date, just double check. Second thing is to not regift a gift that you got within the same group of friends or family. So make sure that they're not going to remember you getting this gift. People do remember these kind of things. Also, unwrap the gift and put it in different packaging, because that might be a giveaway as well. But the big key when it comes to regifting, and I do this for myself as well, is I just make sure that the gift is something that the person I'm giving it to would be appreciative of. So even though I can't use something, would a person that I'm giving the gift to, would they find use for it? Is this something that they may even buy themselves already? One big thing to do when you are regifting is to make that gift personal. Is there something that you can add to the gift to make it look a bit more thoughtful? So if you're regifting, I don't know, whether it's food or a bottle of wine or something, is there something that you can add to it that really shines through the person that you're giving it to? Whether it's in that card that you're going to sign and give it to them, if it's in a gift card that you'll add to it, or is there another small item that you could put onto it that really shows who that person is that you're giving it to and that you've thought about them?
This has been a running theme over the course of our chat, that, this is really about connecting with the people who are important in your life and finding a way to do that so that it's, not necessarily breaking the bank.
Yeah. And there's also an eco side to it as well. Like, we all have so much stuff nowadays, right? So paring it back is actually good for the environment as well as your relationships. It just shows that you're being a bit more conscious of what you're doing with your money and why you're thinking of that person.
And the whole idea, especially for kids, of giving an experience is something that, that was completely lost on my generation as I was growing up, because it was about the stuff, right?
It's so true. I remember when I was a kid, my brother and I used to have not a competition or anything, but like, he always liked the bigger presents and I always liked the smaller ones, and I would end up winning because I had more.
And sometimes good things come in those small packages.
Ah, small business owner. So you wish to be at one with your enterprise. First, you must attain inner peace of small business insurance. This is Zensurance.
If you're self-employed, an entrepreneur, or a contractor, peace of mind is just a click away at Zensurance.com, Canada's leading source for small business insurance. It's quick, easy, and affordable. Get an instant price today at Zensurance.com.
Tell us about the money-saving gifts that keep on giving.
The idea of giving a gift to someone that will help them save is something that MoneySense is really prides itself on with our gift guide. So the whole idea is, when you're thinking of that person and making a gift look thoughtful, is understanding where they actually spend their money. And the gift that you're giving them will actually help them save money because they're not spending their own money on it. So if you have someone who works from home, things that will make their day cozier, whether it's puffy slippers or a nice throw, these are things that, because not everyone likes to have their heat on all day long, especially in the winter when the temperatures are super low, and that tends to be the most expensive time of the year for most homes. A couple other things that we have are if you have someone who likes their coffee every day, a gift like a coffee maker would be the perfect present for them, because they're not spending their money on that fancy coffee every day, but maybe step it up from what they might not think of. We also added an air fryer to our list because takeout is getting expensive, but then you want that texture of takeout, and an air fryer really does help you get that indulgent feeling of eating at home. Another gift idea we had was for a pet sitter, which is something I never thought about, but one of my team thought of it, was the idea of giving a membership to a house sitter so that when you do go on vacation, that your pet is already taken care of. Like, how fun is that? That's something that you would never think of, like an expense that you would need to pay for in a year, but then someone's gone ahead and paid that for you.
These are what I would call practical gifts. Like, this is all really practical stuff.
Yeah, exactly. If someone told me that they got me something that they know that I spend my day and time, or like how I treat myself, and they've gone ahead and done it for me, that makes that treat like a little extra special.
So what's the takeaway here?
I think the one thing I would just add is we talked about not avoiding the conversation, but when you are telling someone that you're not going to give them a gift, make it straightforward. Just be honest about it. I think that's what people most appreciate when they're being told like something like that they're not going to get a gift, or that you're not going to be exchanging gifts with them, is that how it will affect you and how you want them to understand where you're coming from. Because even that statement, or that asking of please understand where I'm coming from, it's so human and endearing, and it's the best way to go when it comes to those kind of conversations.
Thank you so much for all of this. More information and ideas can be found online.
Yes, definitely visit MoneySense.ca. We have very popular newsletters that come into your inbox every week, Weekly Invest and Money Fit. So please sign up and read more about money saving tips.
Lisa Hannam is the editor-in-chief at MoneySense.ca. That wraps up this episode of In This Economy. Thank you for listening. I'm Kris McCusker.
Thinking about the misfortunes your small business could suffer doesn't seem very zen, but meditate on this for a moment. Thinking leads to preparation. Preparation leads to peace of mind. You could call it Zensurance. Get affordable insurance for as little as $19 per month. Quick and easy, whether you're self-employed, an entrepreneur, a contractor, or small business owner. Zensurance offers the unique coverage you need in a snap. Get an instant price today at Zensurance.com.